Welcome to the Omnis Games Business Plan, presented by Tom Madison, Liam Bloom, and Jonathan Skirsha.
Hello everyone. Before we begin, we'd like to thank you ahead of time for lending us your eyes and ears. My name is Liam Bloom. Omnis Games is planning to release a turn-based strategy game with virtual reality elements. Our game's uniqueness will be in its mechanics, interesting art style, and avoidance of gender stereotypes. We have chosen Steam to be our distribution platform. The video game industry is growing steadily and is expected to continue growing for many years to come. Revenue was $99.6 billion just last year and is expected to grow by about 6% each year moving forward. Since 2015, the PC gaming segment has been steadily gaining market share. We plan to take advantage of this growth as our game will be released on PC as well as PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 VR. The gaming industry as a whole competes with other forms of entertainment such as movies and television. In looking at certain trends in the gaming industry, we have reason to believe that our game will be successful. First, 18.7% of all video games sold in 2015 were role-playing games. It's the third largest segment below casual games and strategy games. One of the unique aspects about our game is that it will have a focus on gender neutrality. In 2016, an AARP analysis of 751 video game titles showed that sexualization of female protagonists in games has declined significantly in the past 10 years. At the same time, the percentage of female gamers has risen to about 50%. Furthermore, 83% of girls surveyed either agreed or strongly agreed that female protagonists in games are too often treated as sex objects. This shows that gender neutrality is, in fact, in high demand. Virtual reality is another growing trend in the gaming industry. As these charts indicate, the popularity of virtual reality is increasing rapidly. Headset sales are on the rise in conjunction with the number of virtual reality users at a fast pace. The difference in users from 2014 and 2018 is projected to be more than 150 million. Sales are also expected to reach nearly 100 million units by 2021. Our direct competitors are made up of other game developers, primarily in the turn-based strategy game market. The chief example is Banner Saga by Stoic, which sold over 750,000 copies of its first release. Indirect competitors include any and all media-based entertainment companies. Our main competitive advantage is our management team. Tom has experience running his own business and a degree in English from Temple University, enabling him to write the story for the game. I have extensive experience running my own music company, and I'm capable of delivering our soundtrack. John Skirsha is a talented salesperson who can drive sales and a marketing campaign. All three of us have business experience that will be critical to the long-term success of this company. The gamer community can be broken out into three segments, the first of which is core gamers with 89 million users. The next segment is 50% male and 50% female, known as broad market players. The final segment, players not payers, has about 325 million users. We will be targeting the first two segments with this game. One way to bridge the gameplay gap between the two segments of hardcore gamers and the more everyday player is to have an option to play the game in a more story-focused way, in which combat is made easier. The goal is to bring more people into the fold and create something unique that can sell in both of these segments. At the same time, the games that tend to dominate the core gamer segment tend to be male hero fantasy-driven games and often have lackluster or uninspiring stories. The long-term goal is to convert a portion of the everyday player segment into the core gamer segment by creating a more welcoming culture. And now, I'd like to introduce our sales and marketing specialist, Jonathan Skirsha.
Our product is a turn-based strategy game played on a hex grid with virtual reality elements relying heavily on a compelling story to gain customer loyalty and word-of-mouth buzz. The story and the world the game take place in will be careful not only to avoid, but combat gender stereotypes that plague the gaming industry. The game will also boast a unique art style, and gameplay mechanics will combine to create a crafted experience for the gamer. The soundtrack will be of professional quality and have an orchestral sound. The game will have a feature in which VR can be turned off, simply going into first-person mode for those segments of gameplay. While VR players will experience a deeper level of immersion, The gaming experience will not be lost on players without virtual reality capabilities. Promoting a video game as an indie developer introduces a lot of challenges. First, the art style needs to be unique, attractive, and interesting. Hitting these marks may be the difference between a potential customer watching our gameplay trailer or someone else's. From there, the story and gameplay mechanics need to work in conjunction with the art style to further gain the interest of the audience and convert them into a sale. In terms of getting the product in front of our customers, there are a variety of ways to do that. Game review sites such as Polygon, Kotaku, YouTube reviewers, and any number of Twitch stream gamers can provide a boost to sales and increase market penetration. Additionally, sites such as GoFundMe, Kickstarter, and Patreon can not only raise money, but can generate a lot of buzz around products in early stages of development. We will set our price at $19.99, which is the same price point our most direct competitor prices their game at. From there, we will discount the game a considerable margin at launch to immediately increase our sales. This will increase our conversion of views to purchases and will help grow word of mouth. Once we see an increase in sales, we will decrease the amount of discounting accordingly. The first goal is to aggressively penetrate the market and gain a fan base that will serve as the foundation of our sales for this title and future ones. Our product will be sold through the Steam Marketplace, the Oculus Store, and the PS4 Indie Marketplace. We may also release on the Google Daydream via the Google Play Store. The Steam Marketplace, Google Play Store have a 30% royalty on all sales. The Oculus has hinted they will follow the industry standard and also take 30%, but they have not made an official statement just yet. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to our ownership group and the rest of our team. Our ownership group consists of Tom Madison, Liam Bloom, and myself, Jonathan Skirsha. We have 5 departments that sit underneath of us, which include story and writing, art design, sound design, coding, and business development. Our ownership group has taken their own unique expertises and life experiences and has applied them to specific groups. You can see here under story and writing, Tom Madison will be heading up that department for our first project. For our art design team, we're going to be bringing in a contracted artist to help us roll out our art design and make sure our product really stands out from the rest of our competition. Our sound design team is also unique because one of our owners, Liam Bloom, has a lot of experience in the music industry. We will, however, need to bring on a contracted audio engineer to help us create some of the sound effects that we'll need during the encounters in the game. Our coding team will need to be fleshed out with 2 contracted programmers that we feel will be necessary to actually code our product and get everything to work the way it's supposed to. Our business development team has a management side and a sales and marketing side. I have a background in sales and marketing and have been chosen to head up that team. There are several areas on the East Coast that are attractive as a headquarters. Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston are some of the bigger game industry cities on the East Coast, but it is actually not critical to be there. This business relies far less on location than others, and telecommunicating will be critical in maintaining low costs in year 1. Additionally, this benefits us in that we can hire people from all over the country and even the globe. For our facilities, machinery, equipment, and technology, initially we will rely heavily on items already owned by the management group. We will also allot $5,000 in order to pick up any necessary additional equipment that we will need to release Title I. Over time, as growth allows, we will determine a headquarter location and begin to outfit our office space with necessary equipment, including phone systems, internet connections, and computers. The software we intend to use is either free or subscription-based. The most expensive computer we would need to complete our design is roughly $3,000, and this would be used for our 3D modeling. As we grow, we will require 2 to 3 more of these, probably by year 3. We've identified 4 milestones for Title I, the first of which being completing our vertical slice, building a functional prototype, completing our Title I beta to include beta testing, and moving into our launch for our first title. From here, I would like to hand it over to Tom Madison, who will take us through our financial projections.
On to financial projections. A few things stand out about this right away when you're looking at it. First, you see that of the 3 bars, we have a low sales scenario, a medium, and a high sales scenario. This is year 1 begins at the time that we launched Title I. Year 2 is as we are ramping up development towards Title 2, but also you'll see a significant decrease in sales, and that's simply because we're selling an entertainment product. It does have a shelf life. You're not going to continually increase sales like you would in other business models. So we do see a decrease there, followed in year 3, which is marked by our Title 2 launch, and so we see another spike there, topping year 1's numbers. And this is what we'd expect to see. The other thing that you'll notice is that there's a big difference between the low, the medium, and the high sales scenarios. And this is fairly typical for the entertainment industry, simply because it's very often hit or miss. You can have a flop, or you can have a very successful game, and it could completely catch lightning and do very well very quickly. A lot of that is attributed to your marketing. If we do go the Kickstarter route for financing, being able to have that fan base can be very huge. So in the low sales model, in year 1, it's based off of 3,000 sales, which would be very poor. In the medium is based on 30,000 sales, which is fairly easy to expect because the average game that is released on Steam sells 32,000 units, so we have a little bit of padding there. And finally, the high sales scenario, which is of course what we will be aiming for, is based on 150,000 units sold. Again, this is fairly reasonable to expect in the high case scenario because our most direct competitor, Stoic, who released Banner Saga 1, sold over 750,000 units on their first title. That was largely because of the success that they had with Kickstarter. So, they sold 750,000 units. We're budgeting on our high model for 150,000 units. Now that we've talked about where we want to go, let's talk about where we are, our current status. So far, we have raised $55,000 by our management team from friends and family and personal savings. We expect to require a total of $205,000 to completely make the product, take us all the way through production, and launch, and have funds left over for marketing. So that leaves $150,000 to be sourced. Our management team is well defined. We've identified the key roles and positions and who will be responsible for what. Tom Madison will be the project manager and story lead. Liam Bloom will be the audio department lead, and Jonathan Skirsha will be the sales and marketing lead. All three of us have an array of business experience, whether it's managing people, owning our own businesses or franchises, and so as a senior management team, we are well equipped to handle a variety of scenarios and issues that certainly will arise while growing a startup. And additionally, we've decided to form an LLC, electing the S Corp status. The benefit here is that it changes the tax structure. It enables us to be taxed as a pass-through entity. Essentially, if there's a loss or a gain on the business, that is passed through to the owner group. The other advantage is if we seek angel investing funding and they take 30% of the business and we claim a loss, they can claim 30% of that loss on their taxes, effectively saying, if we hit our high sales goals, you'll make a ton of money. If we hit low or medium, we may have a loss, but you'll be able to claim 30 to 40% of that loss on your taxes. So there's a benefit there as well. As I've mentioned, we've already raised $55,000 and we have $150,000 to go. Now, where that money will actually go towards, what it's allocated for, is primarily payroll. We need programmers, we need another marketing professional, we need voice actors, there will be legal fees, accountant fees, and so forth. But really the bulk of that expense will go towards payroll. And ongoing, that will be our most expensive line item. Additionally, we will have the need for some equipment, some software. We do need fairly advanced computers, audio technology, equipment, a sound room, as we grow. And so those will grow to be significant costs as well. But second to payroll is really marketing in terms of where that money is going to go. What we hope to make is name recognition. We want people to know our title name. We want people to know it's a trilogy. We want people to get excited. We want to grow anticipation for each release, and we want people to know Omnis Games. We want our brand name out there. And so one of the big advantages to going with a Kickstarter versus angel investing, if Kickstarter is successful, is that you grow a huge fan base there, or at least you're capable of doing so. And the word of mouth that can be generated from that can be worth a lot of money. And so that is one avenue that we are seriously considering. In summary, we hope to produce a story-driven game that does not rely on gender stereotypes. By having a game with a compelling story and a rich world with lush characters for the player to explore and enjoy, all of those things are universal, and so we can bring in women who are a substantial part of our target market, and they won't feel excluded because of these gender stereotypes that so many game developers fall victim to. In addition to that, we want to focus pretty hard on the emerging VR market and producing a story-driven game in that setting. To date, there has not been a story experience in the VR arena. Part of that is because it's so new. People are kind of making games based on gimmicks because they're kind of exploring the technology, but we hope to go deeper than that. And then, as I said earlier, we are fairly significantly invested as an ownership team with $55,000 in cash that we have raised, in addition to all of our sweat equity that we have put in to date and will continue to put in as we really make Omnis Games one of the next big things. Thank you.